And welcome back to the Dynamo Show. This is James Erdt. I am the Chief Architect of WOW for Dynamo Entrepreneur. We interview the most amazing people on this show, predominantly speakers, authors, internet marketers, coaches, all kinds of experts that are really empowering others. And we have another one here today. Her name is Rebecca Palmer.
Hey.
Yeah. Welcome to the show, my dear. Oh, I'm so excited to. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I'm excited to share your story. Maybe we'll get into a little bit about the younger years. Let's talk a bit about your past, and some of the challenges that you went through as a young person. I know there's a lot of synergy there because I went through a similar journey as a young person. So maybe we'll start there.
Yeah, so I've had quite an interesting journey through life. Small town, middle class, lower middle class family. Born on the wrong side of the tracks.
Okay.
Actually, technically on the wrong side of the tracks.
Okay.
We were born into lower middle class community that was beyond the tracks. So I passed over the tracks constantly through life. So it's interesting. And then I found myself later on in life becoming a mom at the age of 16. So grade 10 high school, all my plans to go to university and everything else just seemed to change. But
it does change.
It does.
Yeah.
But I still managed to finish my schooling on time.
Good for you. Congrats.
Raising my daughter and still getting great grades. And then I did go on to post-secondary school.
Great.
But it wasn't quite what
right
I
away, or
planned it
did
to
you
be.
take some time off, or did you?
No, I actually went
sequentially
on
right
time,
in?
but I went to college. I changed my expectations because I lost a little bit of faith in myself. I lost the ability to believe in myself to do great things.
Instead of university, meaning?
Instead of university, instead of traveling across the world,
okay,
that's where I lost some of my self-confidence. And it was an abusive relationship with my daughter's father, and it just wasn't good. So that took a lot of my self-esteem away. It left me no longer able to really be feeling capable of reaching for great things, of believing that I could do anything I wanted, because I started seeing myself as just a mom, as a teen mom, and doing
but
everything
how many
I can
teen
to
moms don't
overcome
even
that.
go on to college?
I know.
Like how many just stop there?
And you
grade
know, that was
10,
something I was
grade 11,
determined.
grade 12,
Yeah.
finished, right?
I was determined to graduate on time. I was determined to be the best parent I could absolutely be. So I went to parenting groups and other things and tried to support other parents.
Oh, that's why.
I was still involved with Scouts Canada, so I was venture assistant advisor for OPP Ventures. So we actually went to the OPP once a month and did information sessions, learning sessions as part of a vocational venturing course.
Oh, very cool.
And it was through Scouts Canada and earlier with Girl Guides that I really developed my sense of service and helping others.
Very cool.
And it was
How
really
rewarding.
it was rewarding. And the fact that they accepted me, a pregnant teen, to continue being a venture with the Scouts Canada program, that seemed absolutely amazing to me, because so many organizations still, just over 2 decades ago, would frown on that. But instead I found so much support and acceptance.
Do you think it's a different world now? Do you think it's very different how they would look upon that now?
I don't know. I don't know if it's just that I was very fortunate with the group of people, if it was my background or how I behaved normally, but I actually found acceptance. I was probably the last person anybody expected to become pregnant at a young age.
Were you good in school? Were you like, what kind of student were you?
I was good in school. I was the goody two-shoes who didn't do anything wrong.
Okay.
Yeah,
so it was a shock to you, your family, the school?
Nobody believed me. I actually had to show them an ultrasound picture
Oh, boy.
before they believed me. So yeah, completely unexpected. I would have been the last person anybody ever expected.
Well, your little one is a great role model, I bet. You know, to continue through school.
Yes,
you know?
and I've inspired all my kids. So I now have 4
How many kids?
in total.
4. Very good.
4.
Very
yes.
good. What are the ages?
9, 12, 19, and 24.
Okay.
Can you tell I have too many?
Okay.
I can't remember their ages off the top.
I've got a 23 and I got a 6. You know, one came from a party, one came planned, and then I got 2 step kids to be, a 12 and an 8.
Yes.
So same deal.
I just celebrated my 20th wedding anniversary too. So.
Oh, another fist pump. Hello. That's great.
Yeah.
Very cool, very cool. And is he, what does he do? Is he kind of in the picture a lot? Is he?
My daughter's father, my eldest daughter's father, is not in the picture. I mentioned the relationship, and
so that parted ways, and
that
then
parted ways. And my
married.
husband has. I've known my husband since I was 12. We actually met
great.
camping, and we've been soulmates ever since. And it was actually one of those first vulnerable moments where I really took that big chance. I had had that puppy love crush on him for years and years. And one night I got up the courage to say, hey, do you want to be my boyfriend?
Oh, nice.
Playing Ouija board in
Ouija board.
I
remember that.
Know,
that
weird.
takes me back.
And then we talked for the next 2 nights, and 20 years later, we're still married, and it's actually just been about 23 years, 24
Are you still
years
playing
we've been
Ouija
together.
though?
Not Ouija board, but we're still having lots of fun together and supporting each other. And he's an entrepreneur too, so.
Right on,
Yes.
What does he do?
Well, we started a business together, store fixtures, packaging, printing. The industry dived. We pivoted where we could. I left that business, and now he also does garage doors and garage organization, installation, both for himself and for another company. He always has something on the go, and amazing helping guy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yes.
Now, maybe if you were to share, a couple of nuggets of wisdom with our audience about, maybe some of the younger girls that are out there that either, have had situations, like that, or are going through a current challenge very similar to the one you went through. What would you share with them?
Well, and there's so many different types of challenges. It might be teen pregnancy. It might be a learning disability. It could be bullying. It could be a health issue. It doesn't really matter what the issue is. There's always times where you're going to need to be resilient and look at all the options. There are always options out there, and that's something that we tend to forget, and that the schools tend to make you forget as well. The schools tend to be focused on getting you to graduation and getting you to post-secondary school, and that if you don't take this course or this course, your life is over, which is really, really silly, because there are always options. When I was in school, I did a couple courses by homeschool because I had some complications with my pregnancy. And then the year before, I actually found out I was allergic to wood shop. So I ended up doing a self-led course in AutoCAD. So I sat in the classroom by myself and took AutoCAD design, self-teaching myself.
Course.
And there are self-led courses out there. In fact, I'm working on trying to get some built for entrepreneurship, because I know the importance of youth and young entrepreneurship.
Now, I know you've been involved with a lot of different youth organizations, in G20 as well, correct?
The G20 Young Entrepreneurs Alliance. And the GEC, which is Global Entrepreneurship Network. This is actually their pin.
There you go.
And basically, so I've traveled the world now. I always wanted to travel when I was in school before I had my daughter. Now I do that. I travel a couple times a year, and the G20 Young Entrepreneurs Alliance was held in Australia in 2014. So I was able to go down, meet with other young entrepreneurs around the world, discuss the issues facing everybody across the world.
Amazing.
And we have a lot of similar issues. Global youth unemployment is one of the biggest issues. The need for entrepreneurship to be introduced at a younger age is another very important issue. And just different things like startup visas, not having access to information, the need for transparency in government funding, all that stuff. It's stuff that we all share mutually across the board. And then from there, I've ended up in Colombia, in Medellin, Colombia last year for the Global Entrepreneurship Congress, and South Africa this March. And it's just
so you hate traveling, you're saying?
Oh, I absolutely hate traveling. No, my dream job would actually be to be traveling around the world interviewing entrepreneurs and talking about the realistic part of being an entrepreneur, talking about where they came from, how they got into it, and the struggles they've had along the way, because we tend to celebrate all the good, happy stuff, but we forget to talk about the failures, we forget to talk about the struggles, we forget to talk about that time that you couldn't pay the electric bill and your power was cut off. But they're all things that actually happen to entrepreneurs.
Kind of like this.
And we move past.
I love it, I love it, I love it. We're going to go to a short commercial break, and we're going to continue the conversation.
Sounds good.
Stay tuned with us, and we will be right back. And welcome back to the Dynamo Show. I am James Erdt, and we are sitting here with Rebecca Palmer mid-conversation, and we are going to continue now with the professional world of EntreLaunch.
Awesome.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about the brand.
So EntreLaunch is a business I've had in development since, I'd say, 2013.
Okay.
I started with an idea for Teen Start, which was a micro fund for teens.
Nice.
It's something I'm still working on, but EntreLaunch has evolved to be even bigger. And basically what EntreLaunch is, it's a way to provide activities, workshops, and events for primarily youth focus of age 10 to 24.
Okay.
And how it came about was going through the idea, doing all the research and everything else. I took a course in Coursera on social entrepreneurship.
Okay.
Because social impact is a big, huge passion of mine.
I love that word, social entrepreneurship.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
It's such an amazing thing, and I could go on a whole side tangent. You'll have
Yeah,
to
me
ask
too.
me later about millennials and social entrepreneurship.
Okay, I will.
But anyways, I took this course on Coursera from Copenhagen Business School. Ended up, there are about 5,000 people in the MOOC. Massive online open course, I believe is what that stands
MOOC.
for. MOOC.
Gotcha.
And what we had to do was basically form teams or groups to work on different projects. So I pitched my EntreLaunch idea, and then I started working with 52 people from, I think, like 30 different countries.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
How cool is
to
that?
do the research and development. And as groups often go, it ends up being down to just a small percentage of the full group doing the work. So we went down to about 7 from 7 different countries.
Yeah.
We did meetings regularly, weekly, and we did Google Hangouts, figuring out exactly what the different dates
So
were.
amazing, the
and
technology
the time.
nowadays
Oh, it is.
to
It's
connect us all, eh?
Yeah, and we had
Yeah.
lots of fun doing it. We did funny things like wear the hats on Google and everything.
Okay.
And together we were able to put together this massive plan, this massive idea. And then when it was all said and done, several of them stayed on as advisors. And I now lead it in Canada with plans to expand. So
now are they leading it in their respective countries?
they will be.
They will be, okay.
Some of them are on maternity leave. Other ones
Okay.
are working in another industry right now. But I do still have these global advisors. So we have meetings a couple times a year to get feedback on what's going on in their own areas. And there are lots of things you have to consider when you're planning any business working with youth. One of the biggest things is how the education system and extracurricular activities differ from country to country. If you're from an Asian background, anything you're doing extracurricular needs to be very much focused on increasing your education. And increasing your learning. Here in Canada, they may be more interested in sports or dance. They may not have the same value on that. Timing that's available for doing extra activities, it's important. And then also the money aspect, because a lot of families just don't have money. So we have arranged it so for every 6 enrollments, we can offer a scholarship. Because it's really, really important to me to be able to reach all people, regardless of geographic background or financial background. And I also come from the place, and I know you would be aware of this too, a lot of entrepreneurs come from a background where they either have learning disabilities, they're at-risk youth, they just don't enjoy school because they're bullied or for some other reason, they've had an injury, some reason where formal education has not been their best friend.
Their best experience, yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
So we're
Or they don't
working
learn
really
that
hard
way.
to reach them. And one thing I did find with some of the similar programs like Junior Achievers and DECA, things like that, they focus a lot on the business students that are already on a post-secondary path. The ones that plan to go to college, plan to go to university, plan to go into corporate work.
Yeah, this is true.
And they're not the ones that are going to be more likely to become entrepreneurs.
This is true as well.
Yeah, so we're really aiming to get the general population as well. And I know what amazing ideas kids have.
Oh, yeah.
Teens, kids, they don't feel constrained yet by society. Nobody has told them it can't be done. We're still, or the teens are still able to believe in launching the first shuttle to the moon or creating an airplane. They haven't been told no.
And how cool is it now, like the internet just connecting all these teens so they're inspiring each other of what's possible from other parts of the world they
For
see each
sure.
other doing really cool things. I mean, the trend now on Instagram is becoming a traveler and going around the world and capturing all these great, opportunities and activities from all over different places of the planet. So it's pretty wild to see how they're learning in addition to school.
Yes, and that comes back to the earlier point I said I could go off on a tangent about. Millennials are actually born thinking globally. And our next generation too, I have no idea what they call it now. What do they call our young
What's
generation?
after that, eh?
I don't know. Anyways, so they're born thinking global. They
With
already are
smartphones
going
in their
into
hands.
it. They have smartphones, they have access to every country in the world. So when they're starting a business or creating an idea, they're thinking
Right out of the
all
gate.
over.
That's
right
their
out of the
backyard
gate.
is their smartphone.
Yes, and they're also very socially minded. They want to change the world. They want to create an impact. And that's one of the things that we do with EntreLaunch. We make sure that as we're teaching them how to run successful businesses, how to create ideas, we're also teaching them how to implement social impact, how to create strategic shifts versus band-aid solutions.
Oh, how important is that?
Yeah.
Work on the cause.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. So that's basically
And what's the
what we do.
range of age again?
It's 10 to 24, but
That's a
the
big range.
biggest focus is teens.
Okay.
We run events like Impact Cup, where they go through a rapid business startup process, right from idea creation all the way to pitching to investors.
Okay.
And that allows
That's
them to
great.
have that chance to rapidly go through the process, have a lot of fun doing it. We bring out a dinosaur costume.
Oh,
We
nice.
have fun with paper airplanes. And we just like to have the fun because creativity is really important.
It
And
is.
I love Einstein's quote,
It is.
creativity is intelligence having fun.
Oh, I love it.
So we go with that whole work hard, play hard philosophy.
Yeah.
We do a lot of team building activities. It's something I do with older entrepreneurs as well. We do team building activities. We go on retreats and experiences. We will jump off a mountain. And we're planning to do youth trips too.
Oh, great.
In the future, and we're already partnered with people to do youth trips.
All over the world?
Yes, I'm just excited to take them to that next level and get these youth jumping off mountains as well.
Ah, that's
Yeah.
so cool.
It
And they
is.
want to.
They do.
They really, really do. They're in a different place now where the possibilities have just expanded. Like even
Yes.
2 decades ago, 3 decades ago, we were still living in a little box. But now, like the lid's been taken off that box, and people know there's other people around the world doing this kind of stuff, and they're becoming one tribe. It's very different than generations that have gone by.
It
Yeah,
is.
it's
And you
wild.
can learn anything online.
Totally.
And I'll share you a story about my own kids. My youngest 2 kids, my 12-year-old is a video game creator.
Okay.
So she has created the game Attack of the Killer Zombie Cats.
Okay.
And she was
Nice.
11 when she built that.
Yeah.
And then my 9-year-old, he has taught himself how to do all types of fancy YouTube intro videos,
Oh, cool.
do like Bitmoji characters and everything else, and
Nice.
he's taught himself to do that. Our kids can go and learn how to do practically anything
Is he a
online
Minecraft
now.
enthusiast, like
Oh,
most
yeah.
young little guys?
Minecraft for sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely
mine
loves
too.
it. And then they have all the coding different apps. You can
Yeah.
do Khan Academy to learn a lot of subjects. You can do Scratch. There's so many options out
So
there.
cool, so
and
cool.
building a website,
Yeah.
you can do that so easily now.
Any big why for you? What makes the wheels go round? Why are you doing what you're doing?
Well, it really all goes back to my own childhood. When I became a teen mom, everything changed.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make sure that all the youth moving forward feel empowered to create their own future. And that's one of the things that EntreLaunch does. It empowers youth to create their own future, whether it's creating their own business, creating an organization, or creating change within an existing business. One of the things that scares me is the fact that 70% of the current jobs are going to disappear in the next 20 years.
It's
So
true.
that means that in the next
It's
20
true.
years, there are going to be a ton of new jobs created. And we need our youth to be able to lead the way in innovation.
I love it. And with
Yes.
organizations like EntreLaunch, they will do that.
We will.
Yeah. Rebecca
Yes.
Palmer, thank you for coming on the
Thank you.
show. This is the Dynamo Show, and as always, thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you on the next episode.